Hi there, Andrea Bordenka here. An area that I spend a lot of time and attention in is education. Mainstream public school education, educating adults in professional leadership, and what I'm finding out as I'm doing some exploration, I do coaching and learning and research in this, is that when it comes to how we learn as kids and then how we navigate the world as adults, there's very different sets of habits and discipline that are reinforced throughout time that really don't serve us as adults. An example being in school that there's only one valedictorian. Like there's only one person whose class rank is number one based on their GPA and maybe based on their attendance, and there's a particular ranking there. But when it comes to life and leadership, whatever it was that got the valedictorian or in the saledictorian to those places, the top of the class, don't necessarily serve them in career, because career is all about our relationship with other people. And if we're building teams and building trust, it's all about working collaboratively, where in school, in the traditional public school system, we are taught to do things solo. We are taught that we need to take standardized tests and take tests, and we're graded on our solo achievement. So those become habits, because that's what we learn, that's how we should be learning and how we do our homework. But really, when it comes to career, how we do our homework and the thinking that we do outside of work and inside of work has to do very much with how we relate to other people. So this is about breaking habits. So for me, in my role as an educator and as a coach and as a leader, because I have two organizations that I am the CEO of, so as a leader, for me, I had to break those solo habits, and I've talked about that a lot and to people as a part of my learning journey. Is asking for help was a big deal for me because I wasn't trained how to do that, certainly not in school, and I was taught to be strong and be resilient. So me as a leader, I interpreted that to mean that I had to have all the answers. So for me, going from solo to building a team was a huge shift. And these interactions, when we learn to have these interactions and relate to other people in a different way, that's going to shape the results we get in life. So in school, the results are based on our grade, our class ranking. But in life, our results are based on our own satisfaction and our own definitions of success. School success is defined for us. You either move to the next grade or you don't move to the next grade. You either get an A or you don't get an A. And now as an adult, there's no one telling me as an adult what success is. So if I'm growing up in a house where my parents' definition of success is having a certain car or being able to live in a certain house in a certain town, that's their version of success that maybe worked for them and gave them fulfillment, but maybe my version of success is different. But we're not taught to ask these questions as kids, and we're certainly not trained as adults to teach these to our kids. So we continue to live the way that we live, and we advise our children, and just in the conversations we're in, our opinions, how we operate, how we behave, what we're modeling becomes the default for our kids. So then the question is, what are we modeling for our kids? And when it comes to education, how can we educate our kids to ask for help by modeling it? We can start to ask for help in different ways. We can model it by doing things that are aligned with our purpose, and we might not know what that is, but maybe we're in jobs that don't have meaning for us. And we're modeling that for our kids, so then they're going to get jobs that maybe make money, but that they don't have meaning for them. And if we don't feel satisfied and fulfilled, then how are our kids expected to? So then being in the question of, is what I'm doing in my life bringing me satisfaction and meaning? Do I need a big house? maybe I can do with a condo or an apartment and have less of an income, but be more present with my kids or my community or my friends. Maybe having a big house isn't my version of success and fulfillment. Maybe I just need a small house or a small apartment, and that's all I need, less bills. Oh, what a relief. And I can actually be with my kids more. So it's really this awareness of what is meaningful to us. So it's paying attention to what are those moments in life that bring us joy and satisfaction, and who are the people that we are around that are bringing us joy and satisfaction. If we're in places in toxic environments, whether it's at work or at home, then that's an area to pay attention. Those are emotions that show up, and they have energy and a very strong life force. So being able to pay attention to that, and then being able to say no. Like, no, I don't want to do that or live your standards, and being clear on where you stand. So paying attention to what brings you joy and what doesn't, what gives you meaning and satisfaction and what doesn't. So then you can begin to decline the things that aren't in line with that. And then also starting to make offers. You know, I have a dear friend, Gina, who started putting herself out there singing. She used to sing in her 20s. She's in her 40s now. And she took 20 years off from singing. And now she's literally singing her songs because it has value and meaning to her. And she realized she was putting herself on the back burner. So where is there meaning and value for you? Where can you start making offers to create more spaciousness and fulfillment in your life? And when you're living like from day to day, do you have conditions of satisfaction? So conditions of satisfaction is exactly what it sounds like. I am creating conditions that create satisfaction for me. And I'm making requests of other people in my life, making offers, because there's something in there that's satisfying to me. And this is a part of the Institute for Generative Leadership. This is a part of the curriculum. This is a part of the learning that we do, is we help people get really clear on what it is, what is the path, not the path that we were taught, that we're told that we should be doing. And maybe it's not even something that we're aware of. We're just living our life, but we don't feel that full vitality. We don't feel like we're fully aligned. We don't feel like that purpose. And it could be because there's just a certain trajectory that was set for us that we're following out of blind faith or just default. And so really getting intentional and clear on, well, what is it that I want to live? And what are my conditions of satisfaction? And many people don't necessarily know that at first, but to start thinking that way. Is this bringing me satisfaction? No. Okay, well, what are my conditions that I'm creating that are going to bring me satisfaction in my relationships, in my work, in my life? I wanted to share that because this came up today in a conversation about our education, where we were as kids and what we were taught in school versus what happens in the real world when we're interacting with other human beings. It's very different. So we need to break some of those old habits that we were taught of being standardized, one size fits all, because that doesn't work. We're all individuals, so it doesn't work for everybody. Certainly it didn't work for me. And there's a book I'm reading that was recommended by Bob Dunham, the founder of the Institute for Generative Leadership, called Dark Horse, that talks all about creating your own path, that I highly recommend, getting away from the standardized way into the more customized individual way of learning and creating your own path. And places like the Institute for Generative Leadership exist to help people do just that. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.